Hey guys, welcome back. Today I am taking this pattern that you guys saw me working on in my last video, and I'm going to be showing you how I printed it on this vellum paper or tracing paper. And I'll do my best to explain and show how to do this so you guys can replicate it if you want to do it yourselves. It's pretty expensive to get this stuff printed from like another printing company, so it's nice to be able to do it yourself if you have the materials. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to try a technique of basically taking this tracing paper, sticking it onto this 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that's just a scrap paper I had laying around, and running it through my printer. And hopefully it won't jam or smear all over the place, so fingers crossed that that won't happen. Okay, so here I am going in with my glue stick and just sticking the paper together. I did have to cut it down to size because my tracing paper wasn't 8.5 by 11. But I also cut it a little too short, so I ended up leaving a bit of a bleed or margin, I guess, on the sides, which is actually good. That's probably the way you should do it. So yeah, let's go ahead and set up our pattern now so we can go ahead and print this. Okay, so originally I went ahead and made my pattern in Procreate, and then I exported it as a PNG file and brought it here into Photoshop. So what you want to do is go to Edit, Define Pattern, hit OK, and that's going to save it to your patterns in Photoshop. And then you can just see right here is the little square with my pattern on it, and you can just drag that onto anything and it'll be a resizable repeating pattern that you can apply to anything. Okay, and here I'm just going to drag it onto an 8.5 by 11 canvas, and there it is. And you can drag it around and position it however you want. And if you go over to your layers and double click on the pattern, it's going to bring up this little window where you can adjust the angle and the scale of your pattern. You can make it really, really tiny or really, really blown up and big, however you want to adjust your pattern to the size of your canvas that's going to be printed. So yeah, let's go ahead and get to printing. Okay, so that didn't go well, obviously. It messed up quite badly in the end, and I don't know, I've never seen this happen on any of the other tutorials I've seen on this, so I'm not quite sure what's going on at the moment. You can see it didn't exactly start off super well, but it did print pretty good for a majority of the way. It wasn't until the end when it was being pushed out of the printer where it seems like it might have smudged. Maybe the ink was just still too wet. I don't know. So it's back to trying to figure out some proper printing settings. I almost forgot to mention my settings, I guess, because I haven't quite figured everything out. But basically, I'm just using lightweight paper as the paper type. And everyone's been saying that lightweight paper is the one to choose, but I don't know. I don't know how to resolve this issue yet, except by clicking a bunch of buttons on my settings and crossing my fingers. So we're going to do that now. Is it working? I think it's working. Oh my gosh. Oh, I heard something. That didn't sound good. Okay, so we have a success, which is great, but until I can print this multiple times with no errors, I'm not gonna, celebrate just yet. And I really only made one change to the settings, and it wasn't even the paper type. I found a different setting where you could adjust the print head, and it seems to have worked. But we're going to try it again just to make sure, and I'm going to use some 11 by 17 vellum paper that I bought, and this one is supposed to be better for printing, and it is pretty different from the regular tracing paper that you find at art stores, but I thought I'd go ahead and try something that was going to be a little bit better for printing as far as the ink and its absorption. You can kind of see it's not as clear, obviously, as a regular tracing paper. You can still see through it. I can show you with like the sticky notes. You can still see through it. it's still something that I can use and it'll still look really cute either way. Okay, so I'm just preparing my sheet of paper to go through my printer. I had this really glossy scrap sheet of paper and it actually kind of helped because the glue didn't really stick very well to it, so at the end when I took off the tracing paper, it didn't end up ripping it, so that was nice. But I guess the drawback is that it doesn't stick very well. So we're gonna go ahead and put this through the printer and I will show you guys my print settings and we'll see how it works. Okay, so we have a little bit of an issue, but it's very small, and I know what happened and why it happened with this attempt, and it's mostly because one, the glue was not holding down the paper as well, and I was lining everything up to the backing. So the back paper that's there, I lined it exactly to the edge, and it obviously wasn't exact. Plus, it probably lifted off a bit when the glue wasn't holding the paper down very well. So it caused that little edge there to snag a bit. So for future reference, if you don't want this smudging, make sure there's a little bit of a margin there and don't have it hang over like that, because you're gonna risk it, snagging like this and smudging it. So don't do that. So I'm in Adobe Acrobat and these are my print settings. Like I said, I changed the paper type to lightweight photo paper, and then of course adjust your print quality and your paper size accordingly. I did check borderless printing, and over here under main and advanced settings you're going to find the print head height, and go ahead and change that to avoid paper abrasion, and that's what's going to set your print head back and allow you to print this without any snagging or smudging, at least in my experience. And of course, don't forget to leave a margin so your printer doesn't snag the paper and cause all the smudging. Alright guys, this has been my pattern printing tutorial, I guess. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me go through this process and figure out how to print this pattern on this vellum paper or tracing paper. And I'm so excited I get to use this in my packaging for my shop, which I do have a date set for the shop update. It's going to be August 1st. If you guys want to favorite my Etsy shop or follow me on my shop account, it's all linked in the description. And if you guys want to see any more of my art or my projects or any of my Etsy shop content, please subscribe. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.